I sat down not because I was tired, just because standing felt unnecessary. The couch made that sound it always does, like it recognized the weight. I didn't turn anything on, didn't need noise.
The room was already doing enough. I didn't move either, not staying, not waiting, just still.
The light in here makes time feel softer. I put my phone face down without thinking about it. Some nights don't ask
For documentation.
I thought about leaving earlier, but the thought didn't finish, so neither did I.
There's a difference between choosing to stay and not needing to go yet. This felt like the second one.
Yes, I know. Sometimes the body decides before the reason catches up.
Sitting next to someone doesn't have to mean anything.
It just means you're not standing alone.
The space between us wasn't empty,
It had temperature
and timing, like a pause that wasn't meant to be filled, just held for a while.
Same couch, same night, different days, still hanging in the air. I didn't try to sort mine out, I let it stay messy
On my side of the cushion.
Nothing needed fixing right then. Some things just need to be noticed. I noticed the quiet didn't feel awkward.
That's how I knew we've been sitting long now.
I didn't look over, but I knew you were there. Not from sound, from balance. The room felt even, like it wasn't leaning toward anyone.
We didn't say what the night was, didn't name it, letting it stay unnamed.
Felt respectful, like not rushing someone who just arrived. Yeah, we can sit a little longer.
Some things just need to be noted.
I noticed the quiet,
Didn't feel awkward.
that's how I knew we'd been sitting long enough.
I didn't look over, but I knew you were there.
Not from sound,
From balance,
the room felt even, like it wasn't leaning toward.
toward anyone. We didn't say what the night was, didn't name it, letting it stay unnamed. Felt respectful, like not rushing someone who just arrived.
Yeah, we can sit a little longer.
Didn't come here planning to say anything. Thought I'd just be sitting, breathing, letting the night pass. Some nights feel better when they don't ask for input. I figured this would be one of those.
Quiet stay a little longer than expected. Not uncomfortable, just patient, like it was waiting to see if I'd add something I almost didn't. Almost.
I started talking without deciding to. That's usually how the real stuff slips out. Not the heavy things, not the important things, just the in-between the parts I don't organize first. The kind of thoughts that don't sound better after you rehearse them.
I know I wasn't looking for agreement, just needed the sound of my own voice to land somewhere, not echo back, not disappear, just exist in the room for a second.
Same, it didn't turn into a conversation. No back and forth, no conclusions, just a few sentences set down carefully, like leaving something on the table without labeling it, trusting it wouldn't get lost.
I noticed you didn't interrupt, didn't rush to respond. That made it easier to keep going. Not because I needed encouragement, but because nothing was pulling me in another direction.
You're right.
We didn't plan to talk, that's probably why it worked. No expectations, no momentum to maintain, just words finding space and stopping when they were done.
When it slowed down again, I didn't feel cut off. Felt complete in a quiet way, like finishing a thought without needing someone to tell you it made sense. Yeah.
So we stayed, not to continue, not to wrap it up, just sitting in the after of something unplanned, letting the room decide when it was enough. There's space between us, but it's not distance. It's the kind of space that knows both our shapes, like the couch remembers where weight usually falls. Nothing missing, nothing overlapping.
I noticed it too. Not the gap, but the way it stays unbothered. Some spaces rush to be filled, this one doesn't. It just holds exactly what it needs. We didn't adjust, didn't shift closer, didn't pretend the space was accidental. Letting it be there felt more honest, like acknowledging we arrived with different days still attached to us.
I kept my side the way it was, not guarded,
just intact.
Some things feel safer when they're not blended, yet when they're allowed to keep their edges.
The space wasn't cold, it had warmth, just not pressure. Enough room for thoughts to settle without bumping into each other. Enough quiet to hear my own breathing. Stay steady
didn't ask us to define it.
Didn't lean toward meaning.
Just stay
Like you trusted.
we'd understand later, not at all.
We stopped talking without deciding to. The words didn't end, they just settled.
Silence took over. Now there's a pause, but there's a next part. I didn't feel rushed to interrupt it. I noticed the quiet before I noticed myself. How it didn't ask to be filled. Some silences feel temporary, this one felt inspelled. Like it belonged to the room, morning to us. I thought about saying something, just to check. A checking would have changed it, so I stayed still. Letting the sides do what I was already doing, without supervision.
I shifted once and didn't again. Not because I was careful, because I was comfortable.
The couch held everything evenly, no side heavier than the other. That's what I knew, the silence was safe. It wasn't the kind of quiet that hired stays. It was clear, open, like a window at night. You don't upflow, but don't close either.
I didn't feel observed. I felt allowed to not react, not respond. Microform presence, just exist at the same pace as the room.
Some silences ask to be broken. This one didn't. This stayed intact. Even when I moved inside it, I could trust it. You wouldn't misuse it. I didn't think about how long it lasted. Time felt unnecessary in that moment. When silence is comfortable, you don't count it. You just let it stay, as long as it wants. Eventually the night would shift, not because it was, but because it always does. The silence didn't resist, it didn't claim. It just remained, till it didn't need to anymore. I laughed before I knew why. It surprised me how early it arrived. Nothing happened, nothing changed. The room stayed the same, the night stayed quiet. But something inside
tilted just enough for amusement to slip through.
It wasn't a joke, didn't have a shape, more like a reaction that skipped the explanation. My chest felt lighter for a second,
like air found a shortcut and took it.
yeah. I tried to trace it back out of habit, but the feeling didn't come from anywhere specific. It just showed up, sat down next to whatever I was thinking and stayed.
I know the laugh wasn't loud, it didn't need witnesses. Just a small release, a signal that something had loosened. Not broken, not fixed, just less tight than before.
Same.
I noticed sounds felt rounder. The room had a rhythm I hadn't been following. Even the quiet had timing, like everything was moving together at a speed that didn't require effort.
Another laugh came, this one slower. It felt borrowed, like it wasn't mine originally, but it fit, so I kept it. Didn't question why it stayed longer than usual.
Yeah, I realized nothing needed to be funny. The moment itself was already tilted, balanced just off center in a way that felt generous, like the night was giving us room to enjoy things without earning it.
I leaned back and the laugh faded, not disappearing, just dissolving, leaving behind a softness, the kind that stays even after the reason is gone.
You're right.
We didn't talk about it,
Didn't need to. Laughter passed through, did its job and moved on without taking anything with it. Hey, say.
started telling that story again. Didn't mean to. It just surfaced like it had been waiting for the right temperature. I recognized it halfway through, before the details lined up. Still let it happen, out of courtesy.
Came out in the same order as before. Not rehearsed, just remember. Some memories don't change with retelling. They soften, but they don't rearrange themselves.
Yeah. same places, like my body knew where to breathe. Even when my mind was slightly ahead or slightly behind, I stored it in mind and adjusted on its own.
I know I wasn't trying to add anything new. No lesson, no updated ending. Just letting it exist the way it always has. Some stories don't improve, they just settle deeper into how you say them.
Same.
I forgot a part, then remembered it wrong.
And that felt fine.
Accuracy didn't matter tonight.
The feeling arrived anyway, carried by the shape of the memory, not the details. I could feel the room listening, not reacting, not leaning in, just holding the sound so it wouldn't fall. That made it easier to keep going without performing the moment.
There, I realize I've told that story more times than I remember, but each time it lands differently. Not because it changes, because I do, and then notice it.
When it ended, I didn't signal it. Just let the words stop, like setting something down without checking if anyone was still watching.
You're right. The story stayed with us for a bit, not repeating, just present, like an echo that knows when to fade on its own.
I started telling that story again. Didn't mean to, it just surfaced like it had been waiting for the right temperature. I recognized it halfway through, before the details lined up. Still let it happen out of courtesy.
The words came out in the same order as before, not rehearsed, just remember. Some memories don't change with retelling. They soften but they don't rearrange themselves.
Yeah. I noticed the pauses were in the same places, like my body knew where to breathe. Even when my mind was slightly ahead or slightly behind, the story didn't mind, it adjusted on its own.
I know I wasn't trying to add anything new. No lesson, no updated ending. Just letting it exist the way it always has. Some stories don't improve, they just settle deeper into how you say them.
Same. I forgot a part, then remembered it wrong, and that felt fine. Accuracy didn't matter tonight, the feeling arrived anyway, carried by the shape of the memory, not the details.
I could feel the room listening, not reacting, not leaning in, just holding the sound so it wouldn't fall. That made it easier to keep going without performing the moment.
Yeah.
I realize I've told that story more times than I remember, but each time it lands differently. not because it changes.
Because I do.
And it notices.
When it ended, I didn't signal it. Just let the words stop, like setting something down without checking if anyone was still watching.
You're right, the stories stay with us for a bit, not repeating, just present, like an echo that knows when to fade on its own.
I stopped keeping track. I decided to add a tire, out of thoughts, just effort.
Everything felt less like a task,
More like a presence. Nothing to win, nothing to finish. I noticed the same thing later. How comparison didn't show up, no better, no worse. Just different sensations passing through without lighting up.
I realized I wasn't ahead or behind.
I was just here. That felt unfamiliar in a good way, like sitting something down and forgetting you were carrying it.
My thoughts slowed, but didn't disappear. They stretched instead of stacking. No urgency to follow them, no pressure to hold on to anyone. Longer than it wanted to stay.
Even memories felt neutral, not heavy, not light, just existing at the same level. Nothing asking to be fixed or revisited. Everything allowed to remain incomplete.
I didn't feel watched by the moment.
It wasn't measuring me.
It's when I noticed.
Feel calm my body felt, when nothing is keeping score. The night felt wide, not empty. Wide like it had room for mistakes, for pauses, for silence, and still would it close.
I leaned into that feeling,
Not physically,
just internally.
like trusting the floor without checking. You filled with hope. I thought about moving and didn't, because nothing was pulling me anywhere else. Staying didn't feel like stopping. It felt like choosing to remain unmeasured.
When the quiet returned, it didn't reset anything. It just stayed as if it knew nothing here.
Loaded to be counted. things I don't fix, not because I can't, but because fixing would change what they are. Some habits, some thoughts, some quiet patterns, they've been sitting with me long enough to earn their place.
I know the feeling. Some things stop asking to be improved. They settle into your body like furniture. You don't move anymore. Not because it's perfect, but because the room learned how to work around it.
I used to mistake acceptance for giving up, but this feels different. This feels like noticing where effort no longer helps. Where pushing only adds noise to something that already found its volume. I stopped correcting myself mid-thought,
letting sentences land uneven.
some truths don't straighten out, no matter how gently you try. They just exist
at a slight angle all the time. My body feels clearer when I stop negotiating with it. When I let sensations pass without asking what they mean. Warmth, heaviness, the slow pull downward. None of it needs a solution to be real.
I noticed that too.
How clarity doesn't always come from understanding. Sometimes it comes from staying still long enough for the noise to realize it's not being invited to lead anymore.
There are things between people that don't get repaired, not broken, just worn like edges softened by repetition. Trying to restore them would erase how they got that way. I don't need those parts to change, I just need them to stop demanding attention. Once they're allowed to stay imperfect, they quiet down on their own. So we sit with what doesn't fix, not ignoring it, not working on it, just letting it remain unfinished, unresolved. Surprisingly steady in that state.
Yeah. Some things aren't projects. Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to be vague, it's just that explaining would flatten it. Some things lose their shape when you say them too clearly.
They need room to stay slightly unfinished, so they can keep breathing.
Yeah, I could break it down step by step, but then it wouldn't feel the way it does right now. It would sound organized instead of accurate, and accuracy feels more important than clarity tonight. I notice my thoughts arrive in clusters,
Not lining up just orbiting the same idea.
Each one catching light from a different angle. I don't grab any of them, I let them pass until one slows down on its own. I know. There's a comfort in not being precise,
and trusting that the tone carries more than the words.
like when you speak and don't watch yourself speaking.
Just let the sound land where it's meant to.
Same. My body understands before my mouth does.
It relaxes first, then the meaning follows. That order feels new, but it works less convincing, more honest.
I think that's why I don't need to finish the thought. Stopping early doesn't feel like cutting it off. It feels like trusting you already caught it on the way by.
Yeah,
I think that's why I don't need to fit this in thought.
stopping early doesn't feel like cutting it off.
It feels like trusting
You
you.
already caught it on the way by.
I don't check for understanding.
I don't look for a response.
The room already feels aligned.
Like the meaning settles somewhere between us,
Without asking where it should sit. If I try to clarify, it would sound like doubting.
this doesn't feel doubtful. It feels steady in a quiet way, like something that doesn't need to be pointed at to be seen right.
So I let the sentence end,
Where it wants to,
not unfinished.
just complete enough.
You know what I mean, I don't have to say it all the way. Before I thought it, that small shift when something becomes obvious without being announced. Nothing changed in the room, but my attention moved like it had found a quieter place to rest.
Later, I noticed the same thing, not as a thought, more like a recognition. The kind you don't react to, because reacting would make it heavier. So I let it stay exactly where it landed.
I could have named it. The feeling had a shape I could trace, but naming it felt unnecessary, almost disruptive. Some understandings lose their balance once you point at them.
I didn't check if you noticed, not because I didn't care, but because checking would pull it out of where it was sitting. It felt better to let it exist without witnesses.
Yeah, but my body responded first, breathing slow, jaw loosened.
like it had received enough information. The mind followed later, quietly, without questions. I felt grounded in a way that didn't ask for explanation. The floor felt reliable without being tested. That's when I knew I didn't need confirmation from anyone else. Yeah, there are moments that don't need to be shared to be mutual. They don't travel through words, they just sit between people and wait to be noticed separately. I stayed with it until it softened, not fading, just becoming familiar, like a thought that stops interrupting once it feels understood. I didn't say anything, not to protect it, but to respect it. Some things communicate better by not being carried through sound. When the quiet returned, it didn't erase the moment. It absorbed it like it knew nothing needed to be repeated to remain true.
I notice the urge to respond, not out loud, just internally.
That reflex to offer something useful, a solution, a thought, a way forward. I let it pass without acting on it.
Later, I felt the same thing. That small pull to make sense of it, to organize the moment into something manageable. But the moment didn't ask to be managed, so I didn't touch it.
Some feelings are raw, already complete. They don't want direction or improvement. They just want space to sit in the body until they settle on their own schedule.
I stayed quiet, not to be polite, but because adding words would have shifted the weight. Sometimes silence isn't absence, it's accuracy.
I could feel my shoulders drop when I stopped preparing advice, like my body was relieved, as if it had been holding answers it didn't need to carry anymore.
I noticed how listening can exist without absorbing.
How presence doesn't require involvement, just attention without ownership.
I could feel my shoulders drop when I stopped preparing advice.
Like my body was relieved, as if it had been holding answers it didn't need to carry anymore.
I noticed how listening can exist without absorbing.
How presence doesn't require involvement, just attention without ownership.
There are moments that lose their shape. Once you try to help, they tighten, they defend themselves. This wasn't one of those moments that wanted improvement. It wanted permission to stay as it was.
I trusted that, trusted the quiet to do its own work. Without guidance, without commentary, letting the room hold what didn't need to be carried further.
When nothing was offered, nothing was taken. The feeling stayed intact, not fixed, not framed, just respected.
And that was enough, more than enough, for this moment.
even. Not seriously, just as a concept. The idea showed up, didn't stay long. My body didn't respond, so I let it pass. That's usually how I know I'm not done sitting yet. I felt that moment too, the pause before movement, where you check in without checking out. Nothing pulling me forward, nothing pushing me away, just a quiet agreement to remain where I was.
Staying a little longer didn't feel like a decision, more like gravity doing its job. The room felt balanced at this volume. Standing up would've changed the temperature too quickly.
I noticed how time stopped announcing itself. Minutes didn't arrive one by one, they blended into something wider, like the night was giving us permission to stop tracking it.
My thoughts slowed but stayed clear, not drifting, just resting. The space after intensity when everything feels rounded. Instead of sharp, I didn't wanna interrupt that by moving.
I leaned back a little more. The couch felt familiar in a deeper way, like it remembered us from earlier. Not who we were then, but how we felt when we arrived.
There was no conversation about staying, no confirmation, no glance. The absence of urgency was enough. Sometimes it's all the signal you get.
I didn't check the time, not avoiding it, just uninterested. The night felt stable without deadlines, like it wasn't going anywhere, even if we did eventually.
Staying longer didn't add anything, it just let what was already there finish, settle in. Some moments need extra time, not to grow, but to land properly.
Yeah, we can stay a little longer. We can stay a little longer.
I didn't move closer, I just stopped holding myself. So far away, somewhere between staying still and letting go. My space changed before I noticed it. The couch didn't actually shrink, it just stopped compensating for how much space I felt I needed. Comfort recalibrated itself without asking.
Yeah.
I became aware of weight, not pressure, just presence. The kind you would just after everything else has quieted down.
I know.
Nothing crossed the line, nothing announced itself. It was just
Closer.
like when a room feels warmer, not because the heat changed, but because you stopped noticing the cold.
Same.
My thoughts adjusted, They didn't proud, they softened, leaving more room for sensation. For the simple fact that someone else was occupying the same stillness.
I didn't check
If this was okay, because the moment wasn't asking permission. It was already balanced, already settled. Any question would have been late.
Yeah.
The couch felt smaller now, not restrictive, just shared. Like the night had folded in slightly to keep us where we were.
Closeness didn't speed anything up. If anything, it slowed things further. Movement felt unnecessary, speech optional. The body already understood, but the mind didn't need to narrate. You're right.
So we stayed that way. Not marking me, not me. Just letting the space be small without making it mean more. I thought about standing up, not to leave, just to test the idea. My body didn't respond. That was the answer before any question formed. Time feels wide now, not slow. Wide like it stopped moving forward and started expanding. Moments don't pass, they spread out and let me sit inside them. I notice how breathing takes longer, not deeper, just longer. Like the space between inhale and exhale. Found extra room and decided to stay there. There's no checklist left, nothing waiting, nothing incomplete. The usual signal stopped signaling. Urgency stepped aside without making a scene. I feel the weight of myself more clearly. Not heavy, just present like gravity. Remember what it was supposed to do, and it only that. Thoughts still appear, but they don't stack, they drift. Each one slow enough to be noticed, then allowed to move on. No need to hold them, no need to follow. I realize there's no rush to leave. Not because I'm staying for something, but because leaving would require momentum, and momentum isn't available right now. The room feels complete without activity. Nothing asking to be added, nothing waiting to be removed. Just a space holding exactly what's here. If I stand up later, it'll be gradual. No sharp edges, no transitions, just movement returning when it's ready on its own terms. For now I stay seated, not deciding, not delaying, just letting stillness finish whatever it's doing. couch feels the same, same shape, same sound when I sit down. But the night doesn't, it carries a different weight, moves at a different pace. I notice it immediately, without comparing it to before.
I arrive later, not physically, just internally. The room already knows how to hold me. I don't need to adjust or announce myself. Some places remember without asking questions.
I don't expect anything from this night.
Expectation feels outdated. Here I let my body settle before my thoughts catch up. That order feels familiar now, reliable.
I notice how sensation arrives before meaning, warmth, stillness, that soft delay.
I don't reach for it, I let it come to me at its own speed.
The couch holds me the way it always has, but I don't.
I hold myself differently. Less tension, less check-in, like I already know. Nothing needs to happen for this to be enough.
I sit in the same place, but it doesn't feel repetitive. Feels practice, like my body learned how to be here and remember without effort.
There's no timeline tonight, no before, no after. Just a long middle stretching gently. I don't measure it, I let it pass through me instead of around me.
I think about the other nights, only briefly, not comparing, not missing, just acknowledging they happened, and I let them go before they stack on top of this one. The quiet feels earned, not because of effort, but because nothing interrupted it. I trust it now, trust that it won't disappear if I stop paying attention for a moment.
I think about the other nights, only briefly, not comparing, not missing, just acknowledging they happened. Then I let them go before they stack on top of this one.
The quiet feels earned, not because of effort, but because nothing interrupted it. I trust it now, trust that it won't disappear if I stop paying attention for a moment.
I don't wonder how long this will last. Wondering feels unnecessary.
The night isn't fragile, it doesn't need to be held together by thought.
Same couch, different night, that's enough of a difference for me. I don't need more contrast to notice that I've changed inside it.
I feel that too, not clearly but accurately, like recognition without language.
I don't explain it, I don't share it, I just let it sit where it belongs.
Nothing closes here, nothing concludes. The room stays open even as the night shifts, like it knows someone might return and doesn't want to forget how to receive them.
I stand up eventually, not because the moment ends, but because movement returns. The couch doesn't change, it stays exactly as it is.